ausspielen. So wird es auch für die
Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming out. We're not in Little Mountain Country this morning. We're on another map that I've been playing on. This is the Fichthal V2 map. It's set in Bavaria. It's a cool map that's really super detailed, and there's a lot going on. It's, let me put it this way. If you're into big rectangles, this is not the place for you. This is very much small fields, small buildings, medium-sized equipment. We can play around with some bigger stuff, but let's take a walk around here and I'll show you what's going on. If you want a full map tour, Mr. Sealy P, as usual, has the full tour up on his channel. That's where I first found it. But down here, first off, you see we got our cow barn off to the left here with our small but growing herd of baby cows having their breakfast, looking pretty good. This came with the base farm, the Pertinger, I believe it's pronounced. We've got our manure heap over here. This field, unfortunately, does not belong to us yet. I've already done some work here. We're in September. I've taken care of doing the initial startup, so we don't have to go through that. And as such, we've got the bunker full of silage. This is whole crop silage. We're going to be playing with that. And this used to be wheat. We're going to have to deal with this in a little while. And around the back, we've got our Silo King here. It's full of TMR at the moment. Yeah, it's full of TMR waiting to go in to feed our baby cows. I've put in a greenhouse. This is from the multi-crop greenhouse pack. There's some interesting stuff going on with it that I want to play with on this farm. And as we come around the back here, around the back of our machinery shed, we got our bees, and it looks like they've already got some work, some honey going for us. That's good. This little hut here, this is part of that greenhouse pack that I was talking about. This is going to produce lime and seeds and fertilizer for us if we get it all set up right. This field we do own. I grabbed it because it's right next to our buildings, so fine, fair enough. Nice and close to do what we want to do. The other reason I grabbed it is it's full of rocks. And the theory is that we're going to grab those rocks and we're going to feed our lime producing system with those rocks. Because our greenhouse, it takes, as inputs, it takes lime, either fertilizer or manure, and seeds. So hopefully we can get that going. We've got our silo. Whoops, I forgot to show you our silo. Silo is around the corner here. Past the bees, it was next to this building here. Our silo has a bunch of wheat in it, so we'll be able to use that to start up our seed production. We have a slurry tanker, and now that the cows are producing, we're producing slurry, so that's going to come in handy. Our milk tanker, we're not going to need that for a while. I've done a test run on this map, and it takes a while for the cows to get up and running. But that's fine. That's fine. And inside, you'll see it later. We've got a straw blower, flatbed trailer. And another cool thing that we've got around here, if you haven't seen this map before, I'll just sally on up here. We have apple trees. We have 3 apple trees. They don't produce a lot, but they do produce. Nice little bit of extra cash. They take water and manure as inputs. This greenhouse here, unfortunately, is non-functional. Although I'm going to see if I can jam in one in there. We'll see. We'll see. This playthrough, I would like to focus on having an integrated, more self-sufficient farm where we make a lot of our own stuff. Oh man, I wish I could get that field. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little trip to the store and we're going to pick up a stone picker and we're going to get the stones off of that field and we're going to get some water into the greenhouse and the production point or production shed. We'll call it the shed. We're going to get the shed going. Our weird chemistry going. We're going to start producing some limestone. And it may sound weird, but producing lime is pretty ancient technology. Like, it's not that complicated. The basic process is you bust up your limestone, heat it up to produce quicklime, and then to make hydrated lime, which we're going to be using here, you add water. That's pretty much it. The Romans were doing it in kilns to make concrete. So if they can do it, we can do it. Okay, let's go to the store and pick up some gear, and we'll see you back here in a little bit. So here we are at the shed. We've got our Abbey tanker behind us full of water. And we're going to empty that out into the shed to start our production chain going. I picked up the Abbey tanker to keep the milk and the pond water separate as usual. And we'll just jump into the production menu here and show you what's going on, why we're doing this. I've already started up our greenhouses. They take, as a base, you can start them with just plain water. And I've made an adjustment to them so that they work with the production revamp mod, so that whenever it rains, they're going to take a little bit of rainwater and refill themselves. But you can start them up just water. So what I wanted to do with these produce, they'll give you your grain crops, wheat, barley, sorghum. They'll do fruit and veg like a regular greenhouse. So lettuce, strawberry, tomato. They'll do corn, cotton, and soybeans. They'll do oil crops, canola, sunflower, all right. And they'll do root crops, so potatoes and sugar beets. And the reason I wanted to try these out was because we're using Maize Plus. A lot of these we can just parallel feed them right to the cows and the chickens and whatever else we decide to get into. There's a pig farm across the way that I kind of want to pick up, and having these inputs into those chains would be really helpful. So our shed, what we're doing here in the shed is going to take manure and slurry to produce solid fertilizer, which, we'll need a little bit for the fields. But then we feed it back into the greenhouse in one of these production chains, like here, seed, line, fertilizer. So we're going to make our own seeds. We're going to make our own lime. If we need to, we can make our own herbicide. And we're going to see how that turns out. So I've turned the multi-crop greenhouse on. I'm going to turn on the lime production here. And we're going to fill it up with water, and we're going to jump into the field, pick up those stones. We'll see you in a little bit. So here we are. We've got our Fendt, our large tractor, and on the front of it we've got our Foncasseur stone picker. And the way this thing works is we select it in our menu and we turn it on. It is a stone picker. It won't do anything. Like if you turn it off and lower it like you would, it's on a 3-point mount. If you lower it and drive forward, it does nothing. So what you have to do is you have to turn it on, enable it, and then as we drive forward, with our stone picker, it's not picking up the stones. And that's sort of problematic. Why is it not picking up the stones? Do we own the land? We own the land. Oh. There's already a crop of barley in there. Interesting. When does that harvest? In a year. So it's just been planted and they left all the... Okay. All right. Okay. Well, plan B then. Well, actually, we have a couple of plan Bs. One plan B. We have the stone picker. We have the field. We're going to need to do some field work over here. This field over here, this is the one that had our wheat in it. We're going to need to, this needs to be plowed and have all that stuff done to it. Let's have a little look at something here. Let's look we have precision farming on. What do we have for information for our fields? Okay, that is going to need work. Okay, it's going to need fertilizer and all that stuff. Fine, fair enough. We don't have information for that, and we've got no nitrogen in there. pH looks okay-ish. All right, so, well, we'll buy the soil information. We could take the time to test it, but we're just going to purchase it for $612. That's not bad. pH, yeah, but the same as everything else. Nitrogen is brutal. Okay, so we want those stones. I don't really care about the barley. We're going to be seeding stuff in anyway. So it looks like in our next episode, or in the background, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to haul out the plow, and I'm going to plow these two fields up. And yes, it means that we're plowing under an already planted field, but we want the barley, or we want the stones. We do want the stones because the lime situation in both of these fields is not great. Plus, we want it for the greenhouses. Plus, that's just, look at that. That's just way too many stones. That's going to wreck our gear whenever we come through here to harvest. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we need to plow this. We need to plow this. And we've got our two little fields over here for grass. We've got this field here. It has grass that's growing. And over across the bridge in the back, we've got some hay on the field back there. I'm not going to drive back there, just take my word for it. We've got some hay on the field back there, plus we have another little field up by the store. Okay, well, thanks for coming out to Fichthal. This was kind of an unexpected episode, but I'm liking where this is going. I like it when the game throws me a curveball. Thank you for coming out. If you like what we're doing, drop us a like. If you really like what we're doing, subscribe, catch the rest of this series and see how this turns out. Tell your friends, tell your family, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And we'll catch you next week. Little Mountain Country isn't going away. I'm just putting it on hold for a little bit while I figure out what I want to do next in the series to advance it. So thank you very much. It was good to see you, and we'll catch you next time.